Can you imagine life without friends? It's almost painful to even consider that.
Well, it really is, because it would be the absence of all the joy in life. Our friends are what give our lives that rich texture and make it exciting and fulfilling.
Well, and what most people think of as their circle of friends is probably more accurately represented by a triangle. Why? Because lots of people audition for your friendship, and only a few make the cut. In fact, you're lucky if you have just 2 or 3 people at the top of that list.
Really special friends.
You have lots of other acquaintances and good friends, but close friends, what we would call friends of the heart,
right?
Not so much.
You know, one thing that's always been interesting to us, because we're in this field of relationships, is you can pursue an advanced degree. You can get a doctorate in marriage or a doctorate in family or whatever. There is no degree you can get in friendship, and yet here it is, the most universal of all relationships.
Right, it's always puzzling to us. It'd be cool to have a PhD in friendship, wouldn't it? Well, you know, when you think about friendship, there's really kind of 2 tracks that they travel, and at least from our perspective, friends of the heart and friends of the road.
And
What's the difference?
Yeah, those friends that you were talking about in that upper point of our triangle of relationships, those are the friends of the heart. Those are the friends that we know we can count on. They will be there for us. Doesn't matter if life circumstances change, they'll still be
Even
our
if you
friends.
move far apart, you pick up right where you left off when you get back together, and you stay in touch on, you know, email and Facebook and
You're connected.
Else.
It's there for life.
Right.
Friends of the road, very different than that. You might be close for a time, but life shifts, circumstances change, and they sort of fade out of your life. And it may be sort of like, whatever happened to so-and-so?
Even right now, consider you're thinking about a friend and thinking, what happened to them? We used to be so tight, so close, and we just kind of lost track. Well, the difference between friends of the heart and friends of the road,
huge.
If you ask somebody what goes into a friend of a heart, the person that's really there for you, it seems like more often than not, they'll answer with a single word because that word embodies so much. They'll say, well, I'm looking for somebody who's really loyal.
The most important thing about friendship to me is loyalty.
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 Someone who's loyal. And
they got my back, however you want to say it, just to know that, you know, whether things are good or bad, they're going to be there supporting me.
Trust, because without trust, then how can you fall back on that person when you need them the most?
Honesty, being respectful of each other's ideas, thoughts, and opinions.
Someone that makes time for me.
The ability to be mature in certain situations and to truly listen to one another.
If you look at research on friendship and you really take the time to consider the ingredients, what goes into a great friend, you'll find a list of at least a half dozen or more things that rise to the top.
One thing that always surfaces as one of the most significant qualities in a friendship is a friend makes time for me.
Yeah.
And I think it's really a sign of dedication.
That's what it is, because if you're carving out time in your schedule for me, that's a gift. We don't give away time freely, time and money, right?
Yeah, we don't live that way. We're all moving at the speed of life. And when someone does that for you in an extraordinary way, boy, does that let you know they care.
They show up to something, and, I didn't know you were going to be here. This is so great. You know,
we had our friend Monty show up out of the blue at a retreat center, remote area. Couldn't even believe he found us, surprised us.
With no address or anything else.
Yeah, at midnight, standing there with a chocolate cake to celebrate his birthday. We loved him for that moment and celebrated the depth of the friendship.
So that's one thing. Here's another thing on this list, and that is a good friend keeps a secret.
Love this one. It's so huge. It's what creates safety emotionally in a friendship.
Well, you need that, and I think that's part of loyalty. You want somebody, as they say, put it in the vault. This doesn't leave this room. It's between you and me.
And it takes a lot of self-discipline to keep a secret because we can't resist the urge
Well,
to
there's
gossip.
just something within us that wants to know about gossip. In fact, I saw this study not very long ago done in an office where all these cubicles were, and they set up this little hidden camera, and one guy just emailed to the whole floor, "You won't believe the bit of juicy gossip I just received." And then they just observed what would happen. Within a matter of just 120 seconds, half of the floor had gotten up out of their chairs and found their way going to his his
a lot of
thing.
energy goes into wanting to be on the inside of a scoop. And that's why a good friend knows how not to make you the scoop.
How to keep a secret.
Yeah.
Well, another thing on that list, and this might surprise you, a good friend knows how to provide space. How to provide space. You wouldn't think of that, would you?
No, but in any other relationship, it's all about connection. And yet friendships can be so connected, but also give a lot more freedom than other kinds of relationships.
Well, in fact, the word freedom actually and friendship are connected etymologically,
Love that.
which is kind of interesting.
In romantic relationships, there's jealousy because you are the only one. In friendship, it's a broad thing.
Right.
You can enjoy the other connections your friends have, and it can enhance your friendship.
Here's another thing. Good friends speak the truth. Now, this can hurt. I know from personal experience, this can hurt. But when a good friend will speak the truth like nobody else
Right.
will in your life, it is a true gift.
They won't let you be blind to things
Right.
that you need to know about yourself. That is a grace gift because they can speak the truth in love.
Well, somebody said, he will never have true friends who is afraid of making enemies.
Right.
And I don't know who said that, but that is so true. We
Yeah.
don't need fans, we need
don't.
friends.
We need friends because they open a world of understanding in us about who
Yeah.
we are.
What else comes on the list?
Well, I'll tell you, a good friend can forgive a fault. You can't have a loyal friend without forgiveness because sooner or later in life you're going to step on each other's toes.
Well, somebody said that a good friend, or a friendship rather, is made up of two good forgivers.
True.
I think that forgiveness plays a huge role because if you're not willing to forgive someone or even just forget things that have happened in the past, emotions will just boil over at a certain point and the friendship probably won't last very long.
I think forgiveness is really important in friendship because if you don't forgive someone, that weight of just guilt and anger will wear you down more than the actual person because they're sleeping at night and you're holding on to all that anger.
You have to have that if you're going to have a friend of the heart that goes the distance.
Well, as a person who double books regularly on my friends, I've received a lot of forgiveness. They wouldn't be my friends if they didn't have that ability.
Here's another one. A good friend remains faithful. Again, kind of subsumed in loyalty, but
Right.
this is something, see, when you remain faithful, by the way, I always get this picture. Do you remember that movie, The Christmas Story? Is that the
Yeah,
name of it?
yeah.
Where the little guy, gets that double dare to put his tongue on that frozen
Double
pole.
dog dare, isn't
Double
it?
dog dare, yeah. And all of his buddies leave him, and he's out there by himself, and they're looking out the window at,
And he's
that's-
alone.
Yeah.
He's alone in his pain, which a friend does not let you be.
Right. That's why
Yeah.
loyalty, people will
Exactly.
say, is so important.
Another thing about friendship that's more fun than that is that a good friend laughs easily. There's just this natural connection when it comes to humor. You can laugh at your own self and do it
Yeah.
easily, and you can also share your own quirky sense of humor, and they get you. That is great.
Well, as they say, it's the shortest distance
Right.
between two people, and it really is. How about this? They know how to celebrate a success. A good friend knows how to be there with you, not when things are just going poorly, because we all think, oh, I need a good friend that's going to have my back when things are going well.
It can be hard to celebrate with someone,
Yeah.
especially maybe if you wanted it to be you that were having the baby or getting engaged or getting the promotion. To set aside your own agenda and
Right.
truly celebrate with a friend, total gift.
That's a good friend,
Yeah.
right? Well, and then the last thing on this list that we find when we survey people about what makes a good friend is that a good friend knows how to say a prayer.
That's right, because it takes it to another dimension. It's not just between the two of you, but there's a spiritual dimension. I know this because I have a dear friend. We're prayer partners. We haven't even lived in the same city now for nearly a decade. We pray every week together, and that friendship is one of the most powerful bonds we share.
Yeah, so those are a few qualities that go into a good friend, a friend of the heart. In fact, that's our prayer for you, that you would have friends that embody these kinds of qualities. But remember this, you won't find those kinds of friends with those kinds of qualities until you begin to embody those qualities
Right.
yourself. You can't expect things of your friends that they aren't getting from you.
Once
as
you
well.
have those, you draw people to you.
So we hope you enjoy Friends of the Heart. Okay, you guys, in this session, we want to point you to a workbook exercise that'll help you become an aggressive listener, I would say.
Exactly. Good listening is truly at the heart of those friends that really are to die for.
So this exercise is called, Are You a Growth Promoting Listener? It's really that capacity to listen with what Theodore Wright called the third ear. And once you get a lock on this skill, you won't have any shortage of good friends.